Guys, today we got some illumination happening. In today's video, it's all about getting the back end of this bike all tidied up. Let's get to it. Hey guys, what is going on? I'm Mike Barker. Thank you so much again for tuning in to another one of these CB750K build videos. Listen, today's video is all about the tail tidy that I did on the back of this bike. Maybe you don't know what a tail tidy is. For those who don't, let me explain. When somebody refers to a tail tidy on a motorcycle, it usually is in reference to taking all of this stuff on the back end of your bike and effectively minimizing it. So trimming down the fender, which I did in a video that I will post up here, I guess, as well as maybe installing a smaller tail light, some smaller signal lights. So a lot of the parts you're gonna see in this project today, I sourced from Amazon. They're very low buck, very affordable. So far, since I've done all these things to this bike, they've held up. And yeah, your mileage may vary, but so far, so good right here. Anyway though, on to the actual project. So here's what I settled on with my rear stoplight setup. I've actually gone ahead and bent this bracket backwards in the opposite direction as to what it came from the factories in China. And the reason I've done this is because I'm gonna mount my tail light right here on the Honda. And then I'm gonna create a bracket that actually comes down on the back side of the fender and holds the plate right here. The reason I want to do this is because, again, I worked so hard to keep this factory rolled lip on here. I don't want to hide this. Plus, if I have the plate here, I'll get a little more of a mudslinging, plate catching effect. A little less water up the backside of your jacket when you get caught in a rainstorm. Right, so like I said, I took the bracket and I bent it the wrong direction, hence the paint all coming off. And now what I'm going to do is actually take this light off and do a little bit of layout on the bracket because I'm going to cut off these two wings. We don't really need those, but I do want to maintain a really steady base for the light to sit down on the fender with. So let's get at it. Sharpie, very critical thing to start with. So just kind of taking an eyeball at it. This is not rocket appliances. It's just got to get us close. We can always clean it up after the fact. And I mean, absolute worst case, if I totally botch this up, I'm only out a $10 bracket. I could buy another one of these off Amazon and not be worried about it, but we don't want to be wasteful. I should think that should be plenty of base. It won't wobble back and forth on the fender. So we're just gonna put this aside for now. You know, for 10 bucks, this is not a bad little light. If you wanted to, if you weren't a fan of this steampunk style bezel, you could actually take it apart and just run it with the stop light and your license plate light down here and ditch the bezel altogether. I think I'm gonna keep it though for now. It's, I think it kind of goes with my Mad Max-ish 750. So here in Nova Scotia, we have to have our license plate illuminated or well lit so that at nighttime people can see what your license plate number is. I was a bit concerned though because the stop light, I've positioned it a little further up on the fender. It does have this clear opening on the bottom, and it does for the most part shine quite bright out the bottom of this opening. However, the stop light is going to be quite a ways away from where the license plate actually is, so it's really not lit that well. But I've got a solution. So I went to this place online where you can buy a lot of things. I'm sure you've heard of it. And what I bought was a set of very small, very tidy looking LED license plate bolts. I think these are around $14 Canadian shipped to my door. Initial thoughts. Quality is okay. For what they are, I went with the black ones because there's kind of a blacked out theme going on this bike. And yeah, I don't know, I kind of like those. I might even be able to get away with just using one because I bet these are Jeezly bright. I just went and touched this up a little bit with a flapper disc on my mini grinder after I used the cutoff wheel and the actual grinding wheel, just to kind of contour things out, remove some of the black paint that was coming off anyway. And yeah, it's looking pretty good. The only thing is I can't really get the mini grinder with the flapper disc inside on these surfaces. So I'm just gonna take some 80 grit sandpaper and try to scuff this up as best I can before I hit it with some nice etch primer. This is starting to look pretty good now. It's gonna look even better once we get a shot of paint on there though. I'm just gonna go ahead and clean off the part with a little bit of rubbing alcohol first. Ideally you'd use something a little stronger than this as a prep surface, but this is gonna do for the bulk of what we're trying to do here today. Less is more in some cases. Don't want to make a mess of this, even though it is kind of a hacked together bracket. So now that the bracket for the stoplight is done, I'm going to take it and I'm going to just loosely position it on the rear fender and mark the center points of the holes to drill to mount this bracket. So right now it measures about 10¼ inches from the center of the turn signal on the left to the center of the turn signal on the right. And when I just loosely put my measuring tape across the top of the fender here and see where my marks are, I am right on 5 1/8, dead center. Always good to double check your measurements though, because eyeballing it, I could have deep regrets if I just eyeballed this and it had been way, way off center. I just ran over to the dollar store here in town, picked up some black foam material, and I'm going to use this to make an anti-vibration gasket to go between the stoplight bracket and the fender. Easy peasy. I need some scissors though. Put that on there. Never even gonna see that. All right, so I trimmed that down a little further. Now this is what we have. I think that's gonna work just right. You never see it anyway. So here's where we're at now. I've got the bracket mounted just loosely here with some bolts. I've also got the license plate holder mocked up in the back here, centered up for the most part. As you can probably see underneath here, oh, those bolts are way too big. That's a recipe for disaster. This thing's on here now, and now it all has to come apart. I've got to drill my last 2 holes for the license plate to mount onto, give this thing a coat of paint. I'm probably not going to get real fancy with shaping this properly. You're never going to see any of it anyway. I'll make sure that I trim off any pieces you might see, even when the license plate is on here. But yeah, man, it's looking exactly how I hoped it would look. Just enough customization that you know it's not factory, and at the same time, it still has a lot of the original look. So excited. Like, oh. little time has passed now, and I've gone ahead and painted the bracket. I also put a little bit of gravel guard on the bottom of it, just so any rocks that catch it don't, cause it to rust prematurely. And because I'm running a license plate light in addition to my stoplight, I built a couple of jumper harnesses. These are so I can pick up on both the ground and the hot wire that are also associated with the tail light. That way, whenever I have the tail light on, the license plate light will also be on. Well, I think it's time for this to all go back together now. So excited. Ooh, that's a firm fit. It's good though. Once everything was reassembled, it was time to take a step back and look at what I'd built. Well, there you go, another one in the books. If you like how this all turned out, go ahead, hit that thumbs up button. If you like the video, smash that thumbs up button. And if you don't like this, hit the dislike button twice. Guys, thanks for tuning in again. And be sure to tune in next time. Well, next time's gonna be in a little while because I'm actually away for 2 weeks. Headed to the Baltic on vacation. Might do some video about that, maybe not. What do you think? Would you wanna see that? Let me know, comments down below. That's it for now, guys. See you in the next video.